I am 31 years old right now. In the last 29 years, I read probably 5-7 books in all that time. But now you are looking at the same guy who has read over 100 books in the last 2 years. How did I do that? Well, let's talk about it. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Here we talk and discuss about the books that we read, the things we learn from them, and take away actionable and implementable techniques that help us be better and live a more meaningful life. Before I start, I wanted to say that the best part about reading books, absorbing the material, or just starting a channel like this is having conversations with like-minded people, maybe book lovers or other people who want to get into reading and just love to have these discussions. So please, I encourage all of you to leave a comment below. Tell me if you resonate with my thoughts. Tell me if you can add more value to my learnings. If you come from a different lifestyle than mine and have different experiences with these techniques, tell me about that too. Tell me about the latest book you're reading. Tell me everything that's running in your mind. So let's get that going. Let's start this conversation. I'm going to start mentioning people who I have started conversing with about this. Watch till the end to see who I mention in this video. Coming back to the topic, these are the ways I'm able to read so much more than I ever did before. Buy a Kindle. Carrying this little device is so easy and convenient. It's hands down the best investment I have made in my life. Half the reason we don't do things that we want is due to the friction that we have or the excuses that we make when it comes to reading. Like, I don't want to carry a lot of books, or what if I start a non-fiction book but I'm not in the mood of it? How do I switch to a different one? Having a Kindle definitely removes all the friction that you have. I carry thousands of books in this. It has many benefits and definitely increases the amount of books that you read. I say that because if you travel a lot, or if you commute a lot, or if you have a suitcase lifestyle, then this is perfect. There are many other benefits that this Kindle has. I actually talk about it in a video where I compare physical books versus Kindle books. It should have popped up here somewhere. Before deciding if you want to start a book or not, one way is to get summaries of it. An amazing way of getting summaries is this platform called Shortform. Shortform is a website that contains loads and loads of books and their summaries. If you are short on time, you can use Shortform to check out the key ideas of a book before you invest in it. The way I use Shortform is to reread a book that I have read a while ago and don't want to invest any more hours on it. If you're interested, I have an affiliate link in the description below that will give you a 20% discount on a yearly subscription. That's about 2.5 months of service for free. Check out the link below and get the discount. I actually made a video summarizing the platform as well. I'll leave the link below. But outside of Shortform, you can read reviews of books that people have left on Amazon or wherever you buy it from, or even watch TED Talks or YouTube videos on it. But right now, my favorite way is to listening to podcasts. For example, if you want to get into Ryan Holiday's books, he has many of them, like The Obstacle is the Way, The Stillness is the Key, or Ego is the Enemy, and on and on and on. He has many books. But before even getting into his books, or if you want to just check out his style, you can listen to his conversations on different podcasts. Some example of great podcasts where you can listen to different authors in their books are Tom Bilyeu's Impact Theory, Jay Shetty's On Purpose, or Rich Roll's The Rich Roll Podcast. But recently I found a new podcast where the hosts do exactly what we want, and that is read a book a week and then discuss about it in next week's episode. I really recommend this podcast because it's just about the book. No other life story of the author, no inspirational advice, no motivational talk, just straight to the point. After listening to these podcasts or watching YouTube videos or TED Talks, if you decide that you don't like the book, or if you decide that I get what this book is about, I don't want to know more about it, then that's it. That decides that you are not spending any more time on it. You just spend 20, 30, 60 minutes understanding the topic of the book and are not going to spend any more time reading the book. But you did gain the knowledge of the book. It's an amazing way to grasp the book's principles. It's an amazing way to read a book without spending hours on it. This recently happened to me with 2 books. I recently heard the Bookworm podcast about the book Do the Hard Things First. Now, the title intrigued me, but after listening to the episode, I realized that I have read that material so many times. I don't want another author telling me the same thing. And the second one is 168 Hours. I started that book and read about 15% of it, but then realized that the information is repeated again and again. So I stopped and searched a YouTube video. Turns out there is a TED Talk about the book by the author where she summarizes most of the book in 20 minutes. So there it is. I watched the video, I gained the knowledge of it, and didn't spend hours on it. This seamlessly takes me to the next point, and that is not finishing every book that you start. Let's say after reading the reviews or watching YouTube videos or TED Talks or listening to the podcast or reading the summaries on Shortform, you find a book that excites you. Now you start the book and read about 5, 10, 15% of it. And that's when you realize that it's not what you thought it is. In such cases, you are allowed to drop the book. You already read the reviews, you heard the author talk about the book on different episodes. Maybe that's all you wanted to attain from the book, and that's okay. Don't feel guilty about giving up a book midway. We all stop watching crappy shows in the middle of it. We stop movies after 30 minutes getting into it. Then why not use the same logic for books? Not every piece of work is going to resonate with everyone. So don't feel that your success metric is corrupted just because you didn't finish the book. Your aim should be gaining the knowledge of the book. And sometimes a 1-hour podcast or a 20-minute YouTube video is all you need. The next one is read multiple books at once. When I got into reading, I always wondered how do people read multiple books at once, but now I understand. In the morning, it's nice to read something productive or meaningful or something that puts you ahead throughout the day. You can read about different topics that will make you successful in whatever category you want. Like if you want to be a better speaker, or if you want to be a better leader, or if it's just a fitness book. That's all good, but now after doing the morning rituals and then working a 7, 8, 10-hour workday, maybe finish a workout session and then running some errands, you are going to be really tired. You won't be able to comprehend anything if you read any of these books in the evening. And that's why reading a fiction book in the evening or before you sleep is a great option. It's just like watching a movie, but we know the downsides of having a lot of screen time right before you sleep. So there you go, now you are a pro who reads 2 books a day. But you know what's more badass than reading 2 books a day? 3 books a day. Audible is the newest way of reading for me. After getting into reading for the last 2 years, I was looking for more ways to get more reading out of my time. And that's when I realized that I spend about 8 to 10 hours weekly minimum on the road, just going to and from work. And that doesn't even include the time I spend in the gym. My gym time exclusively included Spotify workout playlist, but now I have substituted that for Audible books. But I gotta say, it depends on what book you listen to. I tried listening to a fiction book once and it was distracting me from my workout. But then I listened to Raj Weston's memoir A Little Bit Broken and Will by Will Smith. And now I'm currently listening to Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. So at least for now, I think listening to memoirs while you work out is a good option. So there you go, now you read 3 books a day. But you know what's more badass than reading 3 books a day? 4 books a day. This is a whole different type of reading that leans towards morning routines. It almost feels like gratitude practice or self-reflections. I didn't even know that these books existed. You can read just 1 or 2 pages a day, and I have a couple of them right here. For example, Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday is a 366-page book to be read 1 page a day. It even has daily calendar dates on it, so you can pick up the book whenever you like and just pick today's date and read that page. I actually made a video summarizing this book and different mediums of how to read or listen to it. I will leave it up here and in the description below as well. In addition, there are other books that can be read every day which acts as gratitude practice. For example, Robin Sharma's Who Will Cry When You Die. You can read 1 page a day of this as well. The point is to keep that 1 page in your mind when you make small decisions throughout the day. But on top of that, there are other books that Tim Ferriss came out with, like The Tribe of Mentors or Tools of Titans. These are books that contain 1-page summary of amazing guests that he interviewed on his famous podcast, The Tim Ferriss Show. If you want to learn the tips and tricks about these overachiever guests, then these are the 2 books that are for you. So there you go, now you are a badass that reads 4 books a day. But you know what's more badass than reading 4 books a day? Okay, I'm gonna stop now. So these are my tips on reading more. As I promised at the start of this video, I'm going to mention someone whom with recently I've started discussing about books. For this video, I'm going to mention one of my closest friends, Srijesh. But I think I just realized that he's a total nutcase based on his Stephen King suggestions. Just looking at the book covers of his suggestions gives me the heebie-jeebies. His recommendations includes a trilogy that starts with Mr. Mercedes, Finders Keepers, and End of Watch. But because I'm just introducing myself to the great mind of Stephen King, I'm going to start with his classic, The Shining. He approved it. So that's my current read on Audible. Let me know what your thoughts are on my tips and suggestions. Do you agree with these tips? Do you use them? Are there any other tips that I can learn from you? Whatever it is, let me know in the comments below. Let's get this conversation started. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.